Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome back to Marie's Kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. Today is another episode of Weeknight Dinners, and that's where we create a dinner that's perfect for a weeknight meal that is quick, easy, and family friendly. Today we're making meatballs marinara with Caesar salad and garlic bread. And this is such a great meal for a family. It's satisfying and nourishing. And also as we go along, I'll give you several tips for things that you can make ahead, either on a Sunday or make ahead in the morning, the night before, whenever you have time, because I know it is often hard to get a meal cooked and on the table on busy weeknights. All right, let's get started. So first up, we'll start with the meatballs. It is such a simple recipe. I've made it on my channel before, and I just love this one because there's no chopping involved. Just measuring out some ingredients and then making them into meatballs. So super easy and no special equipment required. First up, we'll need 1/4 cup panko breadcrumbs. Next is 2 tablespoons milk. Then we'll use 1/2 cup grated Parmesan cheese, and you do want to make sure you have the finely grated Parmesan, not the shredded. The shredded can be bigger pieces that kind of poke out of the meatballs, so get the grated. And we'll do 1/2 cup here. There's 1/4 cup and 1/2 cup. And that adds a lot of flavor as well as salt and also helps the meatball bind together. Now we'll add 1 egg. Next is 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder. Of course, if you'd prefer to use fresh garlic, you can, but this I think adds great flavor and is just really quick and easy. So 1/2 teaspoon of that. Then 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt and some freshly ground pepper. Now at this point, if you wanted to add some herbs like either parsley, oregano, or basil, you can. I keep it really simple and add that usually in the sauce or on the garnish. So I just keep it real simple like this and stir this together, but feel free to add herbs if you like, dried or fresh. So we'll stir this together into kind of a paste here. For the ground beef, I use 1 pound of grass-fed ground beef, and this is 85% lean. You can, of course, adjust that. I just really like this grass-fed 85%. It's got great flavor and just enough juiciness. So then we'll just add our meat. And now for this part, I am going to use my hands to bring it all together. I just want to mix that up. Okay, this looks pretty well mixed, so now we'll make it into our meatballs. You make about 15 about golf ball sized meatballs here. I'm just going to do that with my hands. I'm actually making this meal for my best friend from childhood growing up. Her mother is actually in hospice. So I wanted to do something, and for me, cooking is what I can do. And I feel like I'm providing something for their family, and you know, there's nothing better than a home-cooked meal. So that's who I'm making this for. And her mom used to make chicken spaghetti when we were growing up. I spent a lot of time at their house growing up, and her mom, I remember her chicken spaghetti. And so today we're making spaghetti and meatballs, which is sort of a tribute to her. Not exactly the happiest occasion, but you know, it's real life, and that's what I'm all about. Okay, the meatballs are done. So now it's time to cook them. And for that, you have 3 options. First, you can use the air fryer, and this is my preference. I love my air fryer, and it's a great way to cook meatballs. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cook it at 375 for 10 minutes in the air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, no problem. You can brown these in a pan on the stove. You'll just want to heat the pan with some olive oil, about medium heat. Get these a nice brown on all sides. You'll have to do maybe 5 at a time and brown those nicely, about 10 minutes as well. The other option is to bake these in the oven, and I'll put these all in the recipe on my website, mariesaba.com. You can cook these in the oven. What I do for that is set the oven to broil, and then you set your meatballs on a baking sheet, put them under the broiler for 5 minutes, take them out, turn them with tongs, put them back under the broiler for 5 more minutes. So again, 10 minutes there under the broiler. So whatever equipment you have or prefer, you can use, which is another great thing about this recipe. I'm going to show you how to do it in the air fryer because that's my favorite. And if you want more details on my air fryer, I will put a link in the recipe as well. It's a Cosori air fryer, and I have lots of videos on using this, how to use it, air fryer 101. So check my channel for those if you have an air fryer or are interested in getting one. So now we'll add our meatballs right into the drawer of the air fryer here. Give my hands a quick rinse. Now what we'll do here is put this to 375. We'll just change the temp here, increase the temperature to 375. Oops, looks like 370 is what this one goes to. And we're gonna do it for 10 minutes. And then we'll just push the play button, and that's done. Now while the meatballs are cooking, we're gonna go ahead and start on the Caesar salad dressing. And of course, this is one, if you'd rather buy a pre-made Caesar, you can, but I really love this homemade Caesar and it's super easy. So we're gonna start with 1/2 cup Greek yogurt. And my favorite brand Greek yogurt is this Greek Gods. I use the plain traditional full-fat yogurt. I find this one has a really nice texture and is not too tangy, so this is my favorite brand for that. Next step is 1/4 cup Hellmann's mayo. That gives us a really good flavor and also gives us sort of that eggy texture that, you know, is traditional in Caesar, but without using raw eggs. Next, we'll need 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese. You can tell I'm really measuring this very carefully here. And now is 2 to 3 tablespoons lemon juice. I was always using 3 tablespoons, but then my kids started to say, oh, it's too tart, so I've gone down to about 2. So really just start with 2 and see if you like it with more lemon. What I'm doing here is I just cut off the very ends of the lemon, and I find it's a lot easier to squeeze if you use one of these lemon squeezers if you just cut off the bottom. So I squeeze a lot of lemon, so that's how I figured that out. I like to squeeze my lemon juice over into a bowl here and then measure out from there. 1/2 lemon and 1 more. This is at least 2 tablespoons, definitely plenty here. So there's 2, and I'll just do a little extra. Don't want to make it too tart. Now we can give this a quick stir here. This is the one salad that both of my kids really love, so I serve it a lot. Now the next ingredient is anchovy paste, and of course if you don't like anchovy paste or anchovies, you can leave this out. This, I only use a teaspoon, so it's very subtle. It just gives it a nice kind of salty umami flavor, so really either way. And if you do like anchovies in your Caesar salad, I do recommend getting one of these little bottles and just have a bottle and keep it in your fridge. So now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of anchovy paste, and of course, as always, feel free to add more if you like. Next up is 2 teaspoons Dijon or whole grain mustard. Just add that right in. Now I do like to mix the anchovy paste and the mustard separately here. We'll just mix it here with our teaspoon, because if you don't, it can get a little bit lumpy, and nobody wants lumps of anchovy paste in their Caesar. So mix that together real well here, and then we can just move that over. All right, and we are almost done here, y'all. It is just some garlic and salt and pepper, and this is done. So we're gonna add a good pinch of salt there and some freshly ground pepper. Next up is 1 to 2 cloves fresh garlic. And this is kind of a big clove, so I'll probably just use one. And if you haven't seen this, I use this all the time. This is one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. It's just a silicone tube that peels garlic really easily. So you just take your garlic, you pop it inside, you roll it with a little pressure like that, and then out comes your peeled garlic. And then that's ready to go. Either you can chop it yourself or you can put it in a garlic press like I do and just squeeze that right in here. Look at all that. So much comes out. I love this garlic press too. Okay, now we'll give this a stir. All right, the meatballs are done, and that is one thing I really love about the air fryer is that I could put the meatballs in there and just kind of set it and forget it, make my Caesar dressing while these were cooking. I didn't have to turn them or stand by the fire or pay attention to the oven. You just put them in here, set it for the time to cook, and that's it. So really love this air fryer. Okay, so there are meatballs. They look really great. Now what we'll do is take a little bit of your favorite marinara sauce. These are a couple of my favorites, and I can link these in the recipe as well. I'm gonna try this one today, and what we're gonna do is just put about a cup of the marinara sauce down in an oven-proof dish like this. Just kind of spread it out. When you're picking a marinara sauce at the grocery store, I like to look for one that has really the fewest ingredients possible. Tomatoes, olive oil, basil, garlic, salt, pepper, spices. So try to avoid those with sugar or a lot of extra preservatives. Now we'll add our meatballs to the sauce in this baking dish. We'll just kind of nestle these right in. And the great thing about baking them in the sauce, we'll just bake them just to heat through and let the flavors combine, just about 15 minutes. And I'll do that right before serving tonight. The great thing about cooking them in the sauce though is that they stay really nice and juicy and get even more flavor. There we go. Smells so good. Now we can add a little more sauce on top of our meatballs, and then also keep some to toss with the pasta. All right, now these are ready to bake, and I'm gonna bake these in the oven. Again, this will be right before serving at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes, just so they're nice and warm and the sauce is warm and they're delicious. To clean the air fryer, if you did use your air fryer, go ahead and you'll unlock the drawer like this, and just pick up the drawer. We're gonna clean this and wipe this out, and then in the bottom there's some grease there in the bottom of the drawer, and you'll wanna wipe that out with a paper towel, throw that away. You always wanna avoid putting grease down your sink drain because that causes a lot of problems for the whole city in the plumbing. So pour the grease out in the trash can when it cools, or wipe it out with a paper towel, and then clean the rest. And now on to finish our Caesar salad. What I have here is a package of romaine hearts, and I always keep these in my refrigerator. You can buy the pre-chopped lettuce if you prefer. Just some pre-chopped romaine would be great for a Caesar, and that would save you another step. I find this is pretty quick though, so what I'm gonna do is just chop the romaine into kind of bite-sized pieces here. Then we're gonna throw that in a salad spinner like that. And we'll do at least one more. Sometimes I'll do 3, and then what you can do is wrap your extra lettuce. If you don't use it all for dinner that night, wrap the rest in a paper towel in a Ziploc bag, and then anytime you want to throw together a salad for lunch, you can just pull out your lettuce. So again, that's another great thing to do on a weekend when you have time, if you're doing some meal prep. And since we are having guests tonight, I will go ahead and do a third, and then, you know, we can always save for tomorrow. There we go. Now what we'll do is just rinse this real well. Just run this over the water, drain it out, run it over the water, drain it out, and then we'll spin it. So it's an easy way to clean a lot of romaine lettuce all at once without having to clean, you know, leaf by leaf. So I rinsed the lettuce several times here. Now we'll just give it a spin. And then you can press this button to stop it. And then what you always want to do is go ahead and pick up your lettuce and drain out the water. Otherwise, if you keep spinning it, it's just going to keep spinning the water around. So drain out that water. And then you can spin it again to dry it off. Getting my arm workout here. Getting some exercise. Okay, so there's our lettuce. Again, if you want to pour out a little more water, you can do that. And maybe spin it one more time. Or another thing I like to do is just take a paper towel and just kind of gently towel it off like this. You really want your lettuce to be dry before you serve it. Nothing worse than kind of a soggy salad with a lot of water in it. So go ahead and dry off your lettuce. So we'll just move our lettuce over here to this nice salad bowl like that. There we go. There's our Caesar salad now, and we have our dressing ready to go. So we'll go ahead and set this aside. Our dressing can go in the refrigerator, and the salad we can cover and put in the refrigerator too. If you like croutons on your Caesar salad, which we do, I'm going to show you real quick how to make some homemade croutons, which you are welcome to do, or of course you can buy some. Either way. But homemade croutons are so good and they're really easy. So what I'm using here is just kind of a stale loaf of bread I had from a couple days ago. And I'm just going to cut this into sort of cubes. Doesn't have to be exact. Now we'll take our bread and put it into a little bowl here, and then we're just going to drizzle with olive oil. I like to be kind of generous. Real crispy croutons are just the best. Now we'll add some garlic salt, and you can get creative with whatever seasonings you want to add here. A little garlic salt, and then we like to do a little Italian seasoning, so a little bit of that on there, and we'll give this a toss. Okay, so now we'll take our croutons, and I'm actually going to do these in the air fryer as well, just because it's one less thing to clean and get out. But you can do these on the stove. On the stove, I usually just put a little olive oil in a saute pan, put the bread in there about medium heat, and then you just kind of toast the bread on all sides till they get nice and crispy. You can also do it in the oven, but my favorite is on the stove or the air fryer. So we'll pop these in the air fryer now. Give it a little shake. And then we'll turn the temperature to about 400 and the time to about 4 minutes. You want to cook these for about 4 to 6 minutes. There we go. Okay, it looks like the croutons are ready and they look incredible. Look how nice and crispy those are. This was for about 6 minutes, so if you like them a little softer, you can certainly do a little less time on the air fryer. There we go. Gonna have to try one of these. They look so good. Yum. Okay, we've got one last thing here that I promised to show you, and that is some garlic bread. Really, I just make garlic butter and then have a nice loaf of bread. And one tip on that is if you can find a bread at your grocery store that is kind of par-baked, then it comes out so good. So what you do is you buy the bread, then you preheat your oven to 375, and then we're going to bake the bread for about 15 minutes. And what that does is crisps up the crust, makes it really warm, and it tastes like you made homemade fresh bread. So if you can find one of these in your grocery store, look for one that's par-baked that you can bake up in about 15 or 20 minutes. Now for the garlic butter, I just used a little bit of salty butter here, or kind of a lot. Whoops. Then we'll take our fresh garlic here, a couple of cloves. We'll use our peeler like before. So we've got 2 cloves of garlic. We'll just press that right in with the butter here. Now this goes in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Give it a stir and 30 seconds more. Be careful because it can pop and get all over your microwave. So what I often do is we'll put a paper towel over the top just to make sure it doesn't make a big mess in the microwave. So heat this up just to melt it, and the warmth of the butter will kind of cook that garlic just a little bit, take some of the bite out. So we'll do that real quick. Now this is melted. We'll just give it a little stir here. You don't need to add any salt if you use salted butter. And then a little hack I like to do is, this is some freeze-dried parsley. You can keep this in your refrigerator, and then when you want a little greenery, you just add a little pinch of the parsley in there, and that makes it look fancy. So now we have some garlic butter here with parsley ready to spoon on the bread or dip. And then of course our meatballs, the main course. We'll just heat these up right before serving, garnish with a little Parmesan on there. And then you can garnish with some basil too, or chop that up and put it on top. And that is ready to serve. Now we can just toss our pasta with a little sauce, add a couple of meatballs, serve some Caesar salad, and top with some croutons. I can't wait to share it with my best friend and her family. Thanks so much for joining us on Marie's Kitchen. Today we made these easy and delicious air fryer meatballs. There was no chopping involved, so simple. We also made a Caesar salad with homemade dressing, croutons in the air fryer, and dinner is ready to go. Very easy, and of course you can take shortcuts on all or any of this. You can buy your own croutons. Of course we used our already jarred pasta sauce. You can buy your lettuce already chopped, so lots of ways to speed this up even more. But hopefully you'll see that making a delicious homemade dinner is pretty quick. I really hope you get to try it. If you do, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. We so appreciate your likes. It means so much to us and also to YouTube. So hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, also subscribe. I've got lots more videos coming up with easy recipes just like this, and I don't want you to miss any of them. For these recipes and all my recipes, check out my website, mariesaba.com. There you can go and print out this recipe and all my recipes. Put them in a notebook and make your very own Marie's Kitchen cookbook for free. My goal is to give you some really easy recipes that turn out great every time, so you can build some confidence in the kitchen and feel really inspired to share good food with people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, thank you.